So we can well, maybe just get started now. Um, of course. Yeah, so, well, on behalf of Selma, well, you know, I want to say welcome to all who have taken time out to be here this evening. Um, well, what you're about to hear is something that's, you know, phenomenal, I could say. There's nothing short of that. And what will be presented to you is well, with by Jonathan Jones. He's the director of the Healthcare Support Association of America, director and researcher of that organization. And they try to reach out to people to share them some of the latest and the discoveries. Um, of course, is something that we know can impact your health in a positive way. Things that we have seen. I myself have been exposed, to some of what you'll be hearing about, and it has made a difference in my life. I mean, a huge difference, right? I don't know how many people here know that I suffer from multiple sclerosis, and then hence my journey, started with that, fighting multiple sclerosis. I found it necessary to sort of dig deeper to find alternative to, what I was doing, and in searching, I mean, I found something. Well, of course, Jonathan Jones was, part of my help, my discovery. I've been associated with him since 2003, and has been helping me ever since. And so you'll be hearing about some of these things. So take notes, and I'm sure you'll enjoy what you hear. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. But no, without any further ado, I invite Jonathan Jones to start off with his presentation to you.
Thank you very much, Bob. Much appreciated. It has been a privilege to have known you these 22 years. It's hard to believe we're coming up on 23 years.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Our relationship. So, but thank you very much, and we're always excited when we hear about new progress that you've made in your health journey and the number of people that you're helping along the way. But as Bob said, my name is Jonathan Jones, and I see it as a privilege to be able to share some information with you this evening that we feel strongly can have a huge impact on your life. Should you decide to move forward with any of the recommendations that are being made. We have to tell you, though, that this meeting is sponsored by the Healthcare Support Association of America. I'm the founder and director and research director for that company, for that organization. It's a private membership 501c3 organization. And by being here, you are right now being given temporary membership into that organization. And that means that we can openly exchange thoughts and ideas together. Because the United States Constitution, the 14th Amendment, allows us freedom of private association. So with that, we can exchange thoughts. That means I can share my thoughts with you, and you can share your thoughts with me. And there's no restriction as to what we can say. But at the exact same time, I do feel obliged to let you know our standard disclaimer is that the FDA has not evaluated the comments that I'm about to make. And you're going to hear testimonials. Testimonials are purely anecdotal. And what that means is that what happens to one person may or may not happen to you. What you're going to hear is for education and informational purposes only. So it's this is not intended to be a substitute for a visit to your primary healthcare professional. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent advice of professionals that you trust. And by law, we cannot tell you that any of the supplements that we talk about will treat cure, or heal any disease state. We are allowed to tell you the science, and that's the reason why we have to share the science with you as to how the science behind certain supplements. So if you're wondering why we go into certain detail, the law requires that we do that. And then you can draw your own conclusions as to whether or not the information is of value to you. I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible, but I also don't want to stifle any questions that you might have. So if you have questions, jot them down. VIP presentations, this is much more intimate and more personal. It's like sitting in the living room. So if you're sitting in the living room and we're all sitting around chatting and eating peanuts and popcorn and cookies and drinking tea, we don't have to feel so formal. And I really hope that you guys will not feel the need to be very formal. You can feel free to raise your hand if you want to, but you can also just speak up. Just unmute yourself, and I won't take it personal. I don't feel like you're being rude either if you ask a question in the middle of the presentation if something is not clear. I would rather you ask the question than to go away with something not being clear for you. Okay, so I hope that makes it easy for you guys, because some of you, I don't know, I see some of my own personal friends that are here, but quite a few of you are no doubt hearing some of this information for the first time. So here's what I'd like to do, if you don't mind. I've got about a 2-minute presentation that I think would be good for you to see. It will give you a little bit of an overview of Dr. Prasad and the genesis of the products that Bob and Selma are so excited about. And really, all of us are excited about it, to be quite frank with you, because it's changed most of our lives. My personal story is kind of extensive, but it centers around, my mother and searching for a way for her to have a better quality of life. And because of that, it eventually led me into this career, because my background is computer electronics and engineering. But once I saw that the medical system seemed to have a major void, then I decided that I was in the wrong line of work. So that's what made me make an adjustment and choose something else. But that's another story for a different time. Let me share with you this brief overview. It's about 2 minutes long, maybe 3 minutes at the most.
In 2001, the U.S. Department of Defense asked the world's foremost expert on micronutrition and supplementation to develop a supplement that could provide a singular daily source of nutritional defense and nourishment for our U.S. troops, not just to protect them, but to sustain them as well. This was no small task, as our troops are exposed to some of the most extreme and harsh environments on the planet, and therefore they must meet the very highest standards of health and wellness to protect our country. After 6 years of testing, over $24 million invested, of which $12.5 million came from the U.S. Congress, 9 months of safety testing with the U.S. Military Internal Review Board, and 14 total clinical studies, including 7 human trials, a total of 7 patents were issued, 4 functional patents and 3 formulation patents, making it the most scientifically validated micronutrient supplement in the world. And the benefits are absolutely staggering. One of the patents states micronutrient formulations for the treatment of diabetes mellitus. I would like to introduce you to this incredible company who has made this life-changing product line, once only available to the U.S. military, available to the general public. Testimonials are coming in left and right, and I am so excited to share this powerful information with you. Click the Request More Info button below. and we will instantly take you inside and give you all the incredible details on this life-changing product. Do this right now, and we'll see you on the next page.
We're not going to make you click on the button below to get the rest of the information. We're going to try to share that with you right now, as a matter of fact. Well, as much of it as, like I said, as I reasonably can. Primarily, again, because the information is it's just powerful. And you look at a video like that and you say to yourself, you know, sounds too good to be true. But I assure you it is not. It is not. It's not too good to be true. However, if you feel that because it sounds too good to be true, that that's a good enough reason not to listen any further, then that's your choice. But you would be selling yourself quite short. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened there. I won't go into the history. You just heard that it's, you know, it was conscripted by the United States Congress. It was Dr. Prasad who stepped up and said that I can do this. He said, I can make this. I can make this formula that you're looking for. So that's the reason why we have this product, is because he said he could do it. Now, any other vitamin companies could have stepped up and volunteered to take on this task, but they did not. Dr. Prasad did. This brochure, which Bob, Selma, whoever invited you here, can give you a copy of this. If you put your email address or phone number in the chat, if they can get, I'll send you a link to this same brochure as well. So this is it's just a standard brochure that the company has prepared so that everyone would have access to this valuable information. I love the way they introduce this here, that micronutrient deficiency is a crisis in human health. Now that sounds like hyperbole, it sounds like an exaggeration, but it's not. Because the truth of the matter is, every single disease is as a result of malnutrition. That's the bottom line. Malnutrition. Every disease is a malnutrition condition. It was Dr. Linus Pauling that was the first one that said that every disease is rooted in a vitamin and mineral deficiency. And that's just common sense, isn't it? Because if a person doesn't eat, what would you expect to see in them? Eventually, you expect them you expect to see them to become emaciated. Why are they becoming emaciated? Because the brain is demanding food. The brain is demanding glucose, and the brain and the heart, the vital organs, are demanding fuel. Well, where does it take it from? It absolutely starts to take it from any source available, every source available. So once it runs out of the nutrients coming into the body, it begins robbing it from other places in the body. And the brain happens to have a voracious appetite for cysteine, and muscle is loaded with cysteine. So generally, that's what starts to go first. But every disease is evidence of lack of a vitamin or minerals. Like Linus Pauling said, 2-time Nobel laureate. So that's what disease is, vitamin and mineral deficiency. So most of us were raised to believe that if we just take a vitamin once a day, that's good enough. I still remember going to the store to try to find a vitamin. I was in my 20s. And I don't know why it happened, but I swallowed that vitamin and I nearly threw up. I've never been so sick in my life. I don't know why the vitamin made me that sick. It was nauseating. And I probably took it on an empty stomach and I didn't know any better. And again, I was in my 20s. So how would I know anything? I literally knew nothing. But today, whatever condition you or I are in right now is a result of what we failed to consume over the past years. Somehow, somewhere in our life, we were robbed of nutrients, or some free radical or oxidant came into our body. And that's what causes us to start having tissue and cellular problems and our bodies to go into some level of crisis. So, and that's what this next paragraph talks about there. EMF radiation, pollution, pesticides, processed foods, all of that leads to one health crisis after another. So, but let's go on. Let's just go on and just kind of thumb through this, because you really should read the entire thing. So once you get a copy of it, please read the entire thing, because I'm just going to flash through it real quick and then take your questions. I'll share 2 or 3 testimonials with you just to illustrate that this is not just another vitamin. And then you can ask questions and we'll go from there. But this is the gentleman here, Dr. Prasad. He's been published more than 250 times. He's written, here it says 33 books, but it's really more like 35 or 36 books. He was invited to be a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee for candidates in the category of medicine. He was a professor at the University of Colorado School of Medicine for 30 years. So this is not just a wannabe product formulator. This is a scientist of the highest caliber. So of the highest caliber, because they don't just invite anybody to nominate someone for the Nobel Peace Prize. They don't just give that invitation to anyone. And again, close to 300 published peer-reviewed papers and articles. This man is of a different caliber altogether. He was also the world's first radiation biology PhD. That's quite a dubious distinction. Quite an honorable distinction that this man was given. He discovered the anti-cancer potency of vitamin E succinate. Now, I've been around the nutrition world for decades, and I didn't know that there was multiple types of vitamin E. And I certainly didn't know that one particular type happened to be cytotoxic to cancer cells. But Dr. Prasad is the scientist among all the scientists in the world who is credited with making that discovery, that vitamin E succinate, specific type of vitamin E, happens to kill cancer cells. He also figured out that there's a small fatty acid formed by the fermentation of fibers in the gut that also kills cancer cells, butyric acid. So if you had someone formulating a micronutrient for you, wouldn't it be nice to find one who is so thorough that he figured out the type of vitamin E that could kill cancer cells? If you had someone formulating a probiotic for you, wouldn't it be nice to find one who was so detailed, so thorough that he found one particular component that comes from the fermentation of fibers in the gut associated with probiotics and prebiotics that also happens to be anti-cancer agent? Wouldn't it be nice that that's the scientist who put together your products? I think it's a big deal, because that means that this is someone who didn't just trip up and get a degree and come out of college hoping to be a product formulator. This is a man whose life work reveals that he is eminently qualified to be a product formulator. So again, that's just a brief introduction to the man behind these products. And if you are one of the few people who raised the question, so what does it matter who formulated the vitamin? I challenge you to go to any drugstore or vitamin store or nutrition store, wherever you go, and try to find out who the product formulator is for any of the substances in those stores. Try to find out. And if you do get a name, Google that person and see what you can find out about them. We invite people to Google Dr. Kedar Prasad and realize that he is, he's the real McCoy. To this day, he's still getting patents on his formulas because they're unique. He's got more than 10 patents already awarded. And many clinical studies have been done on his products. The military is what his original formula was targeted for. That's what the government paid for, because they wanted the soldiers to be in optimal health. And I just recently met a man within the past few months who was in the intelligence community and associated with special forces. And he saw for the first time this picture that you're looking at here, the product on the right with those bubble packs. He said he actually saw that in the field where soldiers had those in their army fatigues. And they said that if they ever did not get their food drops, they were given them these packets because this could keep them alive. They could take two capsules in the morning and 2 capsules in the evening, and it would be enough nutrition there to sustain their life. So that's a big deal that really happened. And that's Dr. Prasad on the left, and the wealthy businessman who decided to get this company, Engage Global, off the ground is David Nemelka there on the right. And that's the reason why we have access to these formulas, because the government never intended for this to see the light of day. Once I'm going to just say it the way that I think it happened, because I have no evidence of how it actually happened. But at a certain point, the entire contract and project was canceled, and all of the product pretty much buried. If it were not for this gentleman here, David Nemelka on the right, millions of dollars worth of microdaily that you saw in that package there, those packages there, millions of dollars of it would have been pretty much buried in some warehouse someplace. But he purchased everything that the government decided no longer to use. And I have some of those original packets, by the way, in my bookcase at home. So the story really did happen. This is all it's all real. It's not just a made up story to sell a vitamin or a micronutrient. But Dr. Prasad did not forget everything that he did. What you see on the left became what you see there on the right. That's the original formula, still remained intact. That's what I have right on my desk right now. As a matter of fact, I have a bottle of it right here. I personally take double doses of it because I'm 63 now, so I need more than a healthy 25-year-old soldier or 22-year-old soldier. So I don't take 2 twice a day. I take more. I take about 4 of them twice a day, 2 or 3 times a day, depending on how I feel. And I learned that I needed a little bit more because, again, as you just get older, I'm just as subject to free radicals and toxins as anybody else. So, and taking a small amount of antioxidants may not be enough any more than having, one soldier guarding a city would be enough if an entire battalion or 2 or 3 was actually coming to invade. So it just wouldn't be enough. So I make sure that I have enough. My immune system is strong enough to be able to deal with the onslaught of all the toxins that I get exposed to. So these are the 2 original formulas. You can get them in capsules on the top, or the powder packets there you see on the bottom, and they do make a difference. But before I go on to tell you about the actual components in the product and what it's made up of, for those of you who are, again, wondering, is this for real? Can it really do something significant? We have lots of testimonials, and I'm going to share 1 or 2 with you today. How about this one? We'll go with Roberta Rice again. And we did Roberta Rice just a couple of days ago. And she has so many different issues going on that this may well illustrate it for some of you, that it's not just 1 or 2 things that this product is capable of doing, but it's capable.
Absolutely. And in fact, in this next one that I'm sharing with Mr. Roberta Rice, she is going to reference what she did with her knee. And just so that we don't have to stop the video for you to see the pictures that she sent, this is her knee with the saran wrapped.
It's all wrapped with microdaily.
Yeah. And then that's what it looked like when she put the ACE bandage around.
Okay.
So that's, gosh, she didn't send me the after picture though.
Right.
But anyway,
part of the story.
I just said, I want proof that you did this.
Yeah. Very good.
Here it is. This is the next one. It's pretty incredible.
In April, I had lost the ability to walk. Out of the clear blue, never happened to me before. My leg had swollen, and my right knee was 3 times the size of my left knee. And then Brother Jeff asked me, I got on Dr. Picola Roberts connected me with him. And he gave me a little remedy to do. He said, take Dr. Prasad, the side capsules and open them and mix them with organic coconut oil and make like a paste. So I opened all those capsules. I mixed it with the organic coconut oil. I rubbed it on my knee like Brother Jeff told me to do. I wrapped it in syringe wrap. Then I wrapped it in the first aid bandage wrap and I went to bed. The next morning I was able to get up and put my leg on the floor, which I had not did for April and May. I had not been able to do that. And then after 3 days, I was hopping on my leg. I was able to put pressure and hop on it. In less than a week, I was walking completely, no pain, no nothing. To the young lady, Linda Ross, I had dizziness. I was extremely ill with autoimmune disease. I used to be on 99 pills a week. And then the company ran out of what I was taking for 3 months. God allowed Dr. Piccola to call me, said she'd been thinking about me, and I started to get choked up and cry. She said, how are you doing? I said, I'm very sick, and I just started to dump on her about my health. And yes, I felt dizzy. I kept taking it like she told me. Yes, I had loss of balance. I kept taking it like I was told. And so long story short, I wrapped my knee, and in a week, I was able to walk. 3 weeks later, my husband and I started going to the park, putting in 2 miles 3 to 4 times a week. No problems with my legs since. And if I had to, and have an autoimmune, the doctor says I would be on medication for the rest of my life. Like 99 pills, are you serious? I don't think so. So if I had to be on this for the rest of my life, my health is my wealth. And whatever I got to do, I'm going to do it, because a lot of times we wait until we get sick unto death. Because my husband and I was planning my funeral, and we wait till we get sick unto death. Then we want to try and hurry and take everything that we can take to help us. And so I'm doing good, no pain on my body. I used to have pain from head to toe, 24/7, no pain on my leg, no pain in my knee. Now both of my legs and knees are the same size. I'm so grateful for that. One last thing. The doctor told me when I come back that they were going to put me on diabetes medicine. My diabetic number was 6.8. And so she thought when I came back, I had my physical, and she said, what are you doing? And I said, what do you mean? She said, your blood pressure is down from 150 over 90, over 120 over 70. My A1C went from 6.8 down to 5.4. Hello. And no cholesterol medicine. None of that, Dr. Prasad. I am so grateful. And the knee injection I was supposed to take, I called the doctor's office, canceled all of that. And all because of this and this.
Yeah. That's it.
Collagen. All because of that. Those right there. And I have everything else now. I'm in great and excellent health. No diabetes medication or injections. Thank you.
Well, that's Roberta Rice. And I've met her, and I've been helping her, consulting with her and her husband on a number of things. And she's still in just as good a shape as she was when she told that story about 2 years ago. And still just as full of life. Her husband had a scare recently, and he's been able to overcome that as well, using Dr. Prasad's formulas. And just think about the number of things that she mentioned there. So she had a knee problem that came out of nowhere. She has no idea where it came from. She references fibromyalgia, or whole body pain, all over. She also mentioned high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and A1C, elevated A1C. So she says all these things. Remember, testimonials, as we said before, are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. But we do have to ask ourselves a question. How is it that this one woman is making statements like this, the same as many other people? We've got tons of them. I've got recordings. We could be here till next week playing recordings for you of different people telling their stories. That one I just thought might be, you might find that one interesting to hear. But it's not because Dr. Prasad told someone to go just take any old thing. His formula really is unique. What you're looking at here on the screen is not just the average run-of-the-mill Flintstone vitamin or anything like that. I already told you a little bit about this vitamin E succinate, so that's pretty special. That's pretty special. But everything else, maybe doesn't look like it's quite so special. If you know anything at all about the immune system, you know that CoQ10 is important. You might know that alpha lipoic acid is important to recirculate glutathione. And you might know that N-acetylcysteine is important when it comes to increasing glutathione in the body. Some people know those things, but Dr. Prasad knows exactly how much of each one of them. So his formula, again, we're talking millions of dollars went into the research and determination as to exactly the right quantity, the right form, and the right formula to put together here. Because if you went to the health food store right now, how much vitamin A do you need? What's the correct amount of vitamin C in relation to vitamin E, B3, B12, CoQ10, alpha lipoic acid, N-acetylcysteine, and beta carotene? What's the right proportions of each one? And from what sources? Is synthetic the same as natural sources? So, but this scientist knew it. Not only that, he also was very, very surgical in what he chose. Look at this. Almost everywhere you see all over this page, you see the words activates nerve 2. Again, activates nerve 2, activates nerve 2, activates nerve 2. So you should be asking yourself, why does this nerve 2 thing keep coming up over and over and over again? You should be asking that question. And I'm surprised the chat right now is not blown up, but people say, what's the big deal about nerve 2? You should want to know that. And since you're thinking it, I'm going to go ahead and at least tell you that nerve 2 is so important that it has to do with a little thing on the tips of all of our DNA. All of our DNA strands has something down on the tip called telomeres. Nerve 2 has a direct impact on those telomeres. And listen to me carefully. As we get older, those telomeres get shorter and shorter and shorter. They say that that's the predictor of the length of our life. Once those telomeres are gone, we are gone. Activating nerve 2 has the ability to have an impact on those telomeres. Does that mean you're never going to die? No, of course not. Not suggesting that at all. But if that can be affected by all of these things, and Dr. Prasad, by the way, has published a paper on anti-aging. And he's giving lectures all over the world. He's being invited all over the world to give these lectures at 91 years of age. I think now he does it mostly on Zoom, but he has traveled to many of these places in person to give live presentations about anti-aging. So I would just basically say to you that if anyone would know anything about aging, I think this man knows a little bit about the aging process and slowing it down. So that's where I throw my chips, and that's where I throw my hat in the ring with this man. So one other thing that we should remember too, Dr. Prasad, I told you, was the world's first radiation biology PhD. And because 5G technology is really bombarding us heavily, that's another reason to pay attention to what Dr. Prasad has to say. A really good reason to pay attention because he knows something about radiation. And I can tell you all kinds of stories about Dr. Prasad and the clinical trials associated with radiation and what they have observed with taking his formula. But I'm just going to show you something real quick. I'm going to go fast forward real quick up to the pages where one of the clinical studies was done at NASA in relation to two little bunny rabbits, okay? So these are the different formulas, by the way. Dr. Prasad went on to improve the phenomenal product. He made it even better. Then he came up with a gummies, a children's gummies version of it. So then he had the nerve to step his foot into the area of weight loss. And he didn't go out to make another Ozempic or Mounjaro, because those are semi-glutides. They pretend to be GLP-1 inside the body. He decided to go from the natural way and cause our bodies to make more GLP-1 naturally. So that means we get natural appetite suppression, natural glucose metabolism, natural fat metabolism, natural weight loss, and so on. So that's what this man put into a bottle. Great, great, great combination formula right there. And FDA approved GLP-1 trials. So there were lots of trials done on GLP-1 boosting agents, and there's a list of them mentioned there. Remember I told you he knows something about the gut and probiotics? He put together a probiotic formula. So there's folks right now like me, for example. I won't go without this stuff. No question about it. His collagen peptide is the best. His omega-3, this has saved my back in so many different ways. I didn't even realize omega-3 had anything to do with back pain until one day my kinesiologist, when I said that my back was hurting, she started testing me and she said, "You're low on omega-3." I never told her, because on my desk, right on my desk, I had a paper that just came back, a lab test that just came back, because Engage Global sent me a lab test. They wanted me to get tested for omega-3, and it came back and it showed my level was low because I wasn't taking this regularly. The kinesiologist tells me your omega-3 is low. And she never saw the lab test. She couldn't have seen it because it was not visible to her. So she's telling me this, that my omega-3 levels were low. And I said, okay, well, I have some omega-3 right here. She made me hold it up and she's tested me and said, "You need a lot of this." She said, "I mean, like one every hour for 8-9 hours a day for 3 days, and then you could taper off after that." I did exactly what she said, and I've had no more back pain since. And even when I do stupid things like picking up heavy things, I'm still able to compensate by just taking extra of the omega-3. The inflammation, massively, massively under control, in combination with all of the other things I'm taking. But who knew that's one thing that you don't want to be low on is omega-3. I could talk all night about this collagen peptide formula, but it's phenomenal. Just know one thing. It has something called enzyme inhibitors. This is not the same as the one you get from Costco or anybody else, because this one is patented. There is no other one like this on the planet. No one else has this. Dr. Prasad put enzyme inhibitors in it. What that means is that once we turn 25, we start making an enzyme that degrades collagen in our body. So no matter how much of the Costco brand you consume, you will bleed out collagen as fast as you make it. Not with this one. With this collagen, you keep what you make. So it literally has the ability to further slow down the aging process. It also helps tremendously with things like managing glucose levels and all kinds of things like that. You saw what Roberta Rice said, right? You saw what she said? She was she mentioned this one as one of the things that helped her with her health issues. This is what she is on now, the whole entire core 4. Heart boost, great for blood pressure issues. Digestive boost, phenomenal for digestive issues. Brain boost, I take 2 of these twice a day. That it's like a double shot of caffeine without the caffeine. Unbelievable. I mean, I love that stuff. It's like food for your neurons. Eye boost, you can see better. Sleep boost, you sleep better. CBD, great for anxiety, and so on. So these are all the different things that Dr. Prasad has formulated. But this is the clinical trial I wanted you to know about. These 2 pictures that you're looking at, bunny rabbit, this organ belonged to bunny rabbit number 1, and this organ belonged to bunny rabbit number 2. So don't feel bad for the bunny rabbits. They knew that they were bred for scientific purposes, and they were treated very, very, very nicely. They were given phenomenal last meals. But the one on the left only got his favorite last meal. The one on the right got his favorite last meal along with Dr. Prasad's formula. Now, they got this special treatment at the Johnson Space Center in NASA. They had to go there, Dr. Prasad said, because it's the only place in the country that had radiation high enough for this test. The only place that they could find that much radiation in one place was at the Johnson Space Center, in conjunction with NASA. So both of these rabbits were slammed with a lethal dose of radiation. And you know what radiation does? It's like being in a microwave, right? It'll cook you from the inside out. And look at the difference. This is the same exact organ. The same exact organ. This is lung tissue. You see that? The one on the left looks like it's been deep fried and turned into a liver. The one on the right still looks fresh. Now, we're being exposed to 5G radiation. It's not the NASA Johnson Space Center level of radiation, but we're being slammed with radiation. You know how we know? The number one form of cancer in children once upon a time was leukemia. Guess what it is today? Glioblastoma, or brain cancer. I wonder why. I wonder if it has anything to do with the fact that today's cell phones and cell phone technology is 700 times more powerful than the original cell phones. 5G radiation is for real. The exposure is real. So now, am I trying to say that a cell phone is giving kids brain cancer? I can't say that. I'm not qualified to make that statement. But I can tell you that the World Health Organization has classified cell phones as possible carcinogens. The exact same designation that they give to cigarettes. That's what they say, that they may cause cancer. May cause cancer. So you decide for yourself whether there's any cause for concern with respect to that. Do you remember the patent that was mentioned at the very beginning too? There it is right there. Treatment, there's the words, treatment of diabetes mellitus in that patent. Patent number 7605145. It's a beautiful thing to see. But before we conclude, I just want to share with you maybe one or two stories about another unusual thing that microdaily was able to do or appeared to do, because we can't say that these supplements will treat or cure any disease. We're not allowed to say that, but I can tell you the science behind it. So I'm going to share a little bit of science, tiny bit more with you. And right now, what you're about to see is going to be an open wound. So if you're a little bit squeamish about looking at an open wound, then now would be the time to look away from your computer, okay? So this man has an open wound on his face, so look away now. His name is Rick. And Rick had untreated basal cell carcinoma. That's on the left. And can anybody see the date as to when this picture was taken with Rick? Anyone just unmute yourself and tell me what date it is that that picture was taken of Rick? Anybody see it?
August 2023.
Okay, yes, August 2023. So that same day that he was going in for treatment, someone who knew about Dr. Prasad's formulas told Rick about them. And Rick decided to go ahead and add to his regimen Dr. Prasad's formulas, because the doctor told him he was probably going to lose his eye. And you know how radiation and chemotherapy does. You lose all kinds of other things too, including your hair and all kinds of stuff. But look at the picture on the right. And what's the date on that one?
November 2023.
Yeah. So I'm not great at math, but that's no more than 4 months, right? If you include, the months. And you could barely tell where this man's was used to have the problem. It was a hole in his face. And this is not AI generated. So, and if I didn't know the people personally that were involved, I would question it myself. But anyway, I'm just telling you what is an absolute fact. And then here's just one more brief case here. And this is an official document from the doctor's diagnosis. This is in Ecuador. You can kind of see it's all in Spanish there. The person's name was redacted, so that no personal information would be published out about this. But you can see there, you don't have to be good at Spanish to know that this word right here, can you see that? That with the arrows pointing to, that says melanoma. So that's a form of cancer that she's been diagnosed with. Now, once again, if you're squeamish, don't look at the next picture. I'm about to show you another open wound, okay? All right, you were warned. So this is the bottom of her foot. And this woman was a full-time evangelizer, which means she spent a lot of time teaching the Bible down in Ecuador. And she started having pain in her foot, and she, going up and downstairs in her house. And Ecuador is very hilly and mountainous, so it was really affecting her life. She could no longer do the volunteer work that she enjoyed doing. So she's got cancer. The doctor said that that's melanoma. So they tested it and said that that's melanoma. Now, can anyone see the date that this picture was taken again? What date was this picture taken? Anybody, just unmute yourself.
April 2024.
Yeah, April 2024. So we got the year, but what's the day of the month in April?
I don't see it.
18th.
Okay. Yeah, April the 18th. Yeah, they switched up and put it on the other side of the picture. So April the 18th. And so 2024 is when this picture was taken. Now, if there's any mathematicians here, I want you guys to just do some math for me, okay? So this is April the 18th. And how many days later is this next picture taken? So, and when is this one?
4 days later.
Okay. So what does that look like? I'm not a doctor, and if there is a medical professional here, maybe you can even tell us what you see. But do you have to be a rocket scientist to say that that's improving?
No.
Yeah, it does not take rocket science to say that that's improving, because in fact, Dr. Prasad said the first picture we saw had necrosis. He said this is starting to dry up. And we've had other doctors and oncologists look at it and say, yeah, there's definite improvement. It's a sign of healing. So instead of advancing, the cancer has been brought to a halt. Same thing happened with this woman. She was diagnosed. In her case, she was told to come back, I think a month or two later, for a treatment plan. But in between there, she decides someone told her about Dr. Prasad's formulas. And she and her husband both decided together that she would give it a try. And so now, what did you guys say? 4 days? 4 days later, this is the difference between where she was and where she is 4 days later. Now, somebody do the math again. When is this next picture taken?
Looks like it's healed.
Yeah. And what day are we talking about now? How many days later are we talking about? How many years later are we talking about?
6 days later.
Not years. We're talking 6 days later. It's just the skin is about to flake off. But where's the cancer? Remember, this was melanoma. And they were talking about amputating. They wouldn't take her foot off at the ankle. So that's what was happening with this woman. So 6 days later, her body went through this transition. And some people think that this is just AI generated, but can anyone see any evidence that this is not AI? Does anyone know how you could tell? Anybody?
Her foot is dry.
Yeah. It's dry and kind of ashy, right? If AI makes a picture, what does it do?
It cleans it up, make it look pretty.
Everything looks perfect. That's the way AI works. So that's 6 days later. And now this last picture, how many days are we talking about now? Anybody?
3 days.
3 more days. 3 more days. So did anybody count up the total number of days that we're looking at here? This started on April the 18th on the left and on May the 1st on the right. And all she did was put in her body Dr. Prasad's formula. Are we trying to say that Dr. Prasad's formula cured this woman of cancer? Nah, no, of course not. We're not allowed to say that by law. So I would never tell you that. Are we trying to say it's a treatment for cancer? No, no. By law, I'm not allowed to tell you anything like that, nor give you that impression. But we can tell you that scientifically, what Dr. Prasad says. Here's what Dr. Prasad says about this, right? Here's the disclaimer that we're not making any claims that this will treat or cure any disease. Okay, this is for educational and information purposes only. You need to go see your doctor. If you got a health problem, go to a doctor. Okay, but here's what Dr. Prasad says. Dr. Prasad says that cancer needs 2 things, glucose and glutamine, in order to survive. If you deprive the cancer cells of either one of these 2 things, either one, if you cut them off, either one, the cancer cells will die. Dr. Prasad's formulas deprives those cancer cells of both of these things. That's what happens when you put high doses of this formula in the body. So it's amazing to see it. And if I didn't know the people that were involved, I would wonder myself, does it sound too good to be true? Perhaps. But is that a good enough reason not to take a closer look and to try it? I don't think so. Not a good enough reason to me. But here's a little bit more information about the products. There they are, some of the details. If you want to look at this video later, you can, because all of this is recorded. These are all the products, and that I showed you earlier in the brochure. This is the cost. If you pay for them retail, it would be $315. If you pay for them wholesale, which Bob and Selma, myself, we can buy them wholesale, it would be about $250. But you, as first-time buyers, you can get a subscription for them, and it would only be $205. So the company Engage Global is literally subsidizing your health. So they're eating $50 themselves. So to give you a chance at getting to try the product. If the best you can do is just the microdaily and the probiotic, then those are the 2 things you do. So that would be the minimal recommendation, is those 2 items right there. Okay, so there you have it in a nutshell. And my job was to give you an overview as to how these products worked, what they did, the science behind them, and now to answer any questions that you might have. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask the questions now. There's no such thing as a stupid question. The only stupid question is the unasked question. So feel free. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Jonathan Jones. And this video is there. It has been recorded. In fact, it's live streamed. It's actually live streamed right now. All over the world, it can be seen. So I have no idea how many people are actually seeing this presentation now. But Joyce Holmes has a question. Go ahead, please.
Well, I seen the video before on the lady that had the knee situation and the treatment that she used. So my question is, was it arthritis, or, as I think y'all said, she wasn't too sure what really caused it, that she couldn't walk?
No, I don't know. She said it happened all of a sudden. I can personally tell you, I've experienced that. I went to kneel down to put some air in a tire, a hand truck. So I just went to put some air in the tire to make sure that the hand truck could lift the boxes that I was trying to move. And when I kneeled down, it felt like someone had jabbed an ice pick in my knee. And I've never been diagnosed with arthritis or bursitis or anything like that. But I do know one thing: my knee was in severe pain. I never felt pain like that before in my life. I mean, it really felt like someone had jabbed an ice pick in my knee. So I halfway understand how she must have felt. So by the time I could position myself to crawl into the house, Joanna handed me a handful of micro daily, maybe 4 or 5 of them or 6 of them, in about 15 minutes or so, the pain was such that I could walk again. I didn't go kneeling down like that again, tell you that, but I could walk again. So I can attest to the fact that the putting antioxidants in your body can have that kind of an effect, because it was almost instant for me, and I was able to keep going. Since then, I don't take as high the dose, but I do continue to take it. And I try to get in 7,000 steps a day. I'm way off my routine right now. We're in Boston. We come up here a couple times a year to help take care of my mother-in-law. So I'm way out of my routine right now. But walking makes a big difference too. So I'm glad that she said that she was doing 2 miles a day a few times a week. It'd be great if she did 2 to 3 miles every day. It would be good if you can get to that point. So if any of you are thinking about adding walking to your regimen as a way of helping your health, that would be a very wise thing. But she never said what if there was an official diagnosis, Joyce. But we have been told by many who have had certain ailments, such as what you mentioned, that they got similar results as well.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you for your question. Anybody else with any questions at all? One common question we get is, are there any side effects? Yes and no. We have found that these products tend to have a negative effect on your relationship with your doctor. So it's bad for your relationship with your doctor, because there's a lot of folks who find themselves not going to their doctor as much. So if you're fond of frequent trips to your doctor, then that could be a consequence of this. And the other thing is that detox reaction can happen. So if your body's full of toxins like mine was at the very beginning, then as you take this, those toxins got to find a way out. So please make sure you drink plenty of water. So drink half your body weight in ounces. So if a person weighs 150 pounds, they must drink 75 ounces of water every day. That does not include coffee. Coffee is a negative. So for every ounce of coffee you drink, you got to add on that much water. You got to replace it with that. Go ahead, Gretchen, please.
I have a question about any other vitamins that you take with the micronutrients. What's suggested with that?
Definitely best not to take any other vitamins, because Dr. Prasad's formula is very precise. And if a person was to go and add in a bunch of other vitamins and thinking that more is better, that's a mistake. So you just can disrupt the entire formula. I would prefer that you not even buy it. If you're fond of your other vitamins, then use them. But I would rather you not combine them together, because then you'll think that our vitamins, Dr. Prasad's formula, doesn't work. So, and you'll blame it for a failure. But if you really want to give it a try, set everything you have aside for now. Stick them in the freezer, and then just try Dr. Prasad's formula, and you'll see that there's a dramatic difference in the way that it works. Thank you for your question, Gretchen. Go ahead, Dolores.
My question is, if persons are concerned about contraindications or toxicity, do they have anything to worry about with these vitamins, with the micronutrients?
Great question. Great question. Thank you for bringing that up. One of the things that Dr. Prasad had to do was he had to prove safety in his formula. I'm going to go back to that brochure that we were looking at earlier. And in that brochure, I'm going way back to the front now. In that brochure, there's a statement that's made in here that safety tests were completed. But right here on this list, there was 6 years of testing. And right there, this one right here, 9 months. 9 months of safety testing with the U.S. Military Internal Review Board. The IRB is rigid. He had to prove to them, not reassure them, prove to them that there were no contraindications with any known pharmaceutical drugs. And Dr. Prasad successfully proved that. So the only thing that you would need to be cautious about is if your doctor told you that your condition was such that you should not eat food, then you should not take these supplements, because this is the food that's missing from your food. But it doesn't matter what other pharmaceuticals the doctors may have put you on, this will only make it better. It can mitigate the side effects of most of them. In fact, it'll ameliorate most of the side effects, and it won't be nearly as intense for most people. And we've got many folks that say that there's no side effects, but no contraindications at all. Some doctors say, well, there's vitamin E in there, and I have you on blood thinners. Well, there's not enough vitamin E in Dr. Prasad's formulas to make a measurable and appreciable difference at all, even if a person is taking blood thinners. We've had some folks on massive doses of blood thinners and take therapeutic doses of Dr. Prasad's formula with no ill effect. Go ahead, Gretchen, please.
I was wondering, and I had some questions from others about its ability to assist in rest or getting better sleep from it.
Very good question. I went through a spell, I don't know quite why, probably just anxiety, that I was having trouble sleeping. I would sleep 3 or 4 hours a night. In fact, I would be just going to sleep at about 6 o'clock in the morning from being up from 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, just couldn't go back to sleep. And now when it's time to get up, I'm falling asleep. But no more. I take this CBD, and I know a lot of folks that have done this, including women. My wife, for example, has taken, I take the CBD every night. I take 2 of those, and I also take the Sleep Boost. See if I can just show it to you real quick. It's also inside that same flyer. Dolores, you were commenting on how you benefited from the sleep?
I was going to comment on the blood thinners with the vitamin E.
Okay. 1 second. Here's the sleep issues, right? Where are you? It's here somewhere. I know it. There we go. There's a sleep boost right there. And this is phenomenal. Some people only need like 1 at night, but I take 2 because I want to try to sleep 8 hours unbroken. And I usually get it. If I take 3, I'm definitely going to get, 8 or 9 hours. But I just don't have that much time to sleep that long. But I take 2 of these, phenomenal for reducing cortisol levels, anxiety, and I don't wake up groggy. And I take it along with this. I take 2 CBD. So this is great for anxiety. And your body wants CBD, cannabidiol. It's extracted from hemp, not from any other cannabis plant, but the hemp plant. So there's no THC or anything else in it. So absolutely phenomenal. The 2 of these together are great if a person is trying to improve their sleep. So you take whatever you need to take to get better sleep, but it absolutely positively does make a huge difference. And I'll go ahead with your comment there, Dolores, on the Eliquis.
Yes, I know everybody's different, but my husband, he's on Eliquis, been on it for quite a few years, and he's also on Macrodel. He was taking Macrodel for at least the last 6 years. And whenever we go to his doctor's appointment, you know how they always look at whatever you're taking. What the doctor never said anything about any problem with the ingredients and the product, in opposed to his Eliquis. He didn't have any problem, with it. He didn't bleed easily or anything like that. So it didn't cause him any problem.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing. That's very good. And then Bob, our host, Bob Evans.
Yes. Yes. Who someone wants to find out if you have to take it every day and if once a day is enough.
Good question. Excellent question. Remember, this is the food that's missing from our food. And this is not a drug. This is simply giving our body the nutrients that it's missing. So if you eat every day, remember you're being deficient. You're being deprived of the correct nutrients. And I could give you all sorts of scientific evidence of that, because there is tremendous amounts of evidence. Back in the early 1900s, 1 ear of corn had so much nutrients in it that today you'd have to eat almost 18 ears of corn today to get what was in an ear of corn back in the early 1900s. So the level of nutrients is just not there. So I recommend taking it every day, yes. And Dr. Prasad recommends taking it not just once a day, but twice a day, because you could actually disrupt the gene expression. So because your body will have all these micronutrients for part of the day, and 12 hours later, you got nothing. So it's designed to be taken twice a day. So the half-life of N-acetylcysteine and other things is about 12 hours. So after 12 hours time, you need to take more. Otherwise, again, you could throw off your body's ability to express genetic issues properly. So we recommend it every day. So go with whatever budget that you need to, whatever your condition is, stick with it for 90 days to see what difference it makes for you. We highly recommend the GLP-1 Core 4. The GLP-1 Boost Core 4 would help you lose excess body fat and shift increasing muscle mass, balance out hormones, GLP-1 and GIP, and make the body able to handle and respond better to the entire rest of the Core 4. Do that for 90 days and see where you are. And after 90 days, you may not need, to take the product anymore. If you have a chronic problem, I highly recommend you add at least one additional microdaily to your protocol and take that twice a day, one additional dose of microdaily twice a day. But get back with the person that invited you tonight, and they can help you put together the package that's best for you. If you need to speak with me again, Bob and Selma know how to reach me, or any other affiliate that invited you know how to reach me and can schedule a one-on-one time if there's something that we need to talk about. There is a special right now with the collagen. They have them in little stick packs. So there's buy two, get one free. So this is the time to get that order in for the stick packs. And that's a great deal, because right now, whenever we travel, I have to travel with an entire canister. And so we carry like 3 or 4 canisters whenever we're gone, because we're going to be gone for like a month or two. And so we have to do that. But it'd be so much more convenient if we had those little packets. Then we just put them in our suitcase and stuff them in there. And then we have everything that we need. Very convenient that way, but not the canister. So we're excited about stocking up on those stick packs of the collagen. Okay. So Bob, I think I covered everything that most folks need to know. And I'm more than happy again to respond to any additional questions that may come up by email or text message, or schedule a time that we can get together sometime the next day or two. Okay?
Sure.
Thank you all very much for your kind attention, and congratulations, Bob and Selma. Selma's there.
Hi, yes, I'm here.
All right.
I just want to welcome Cabell and Audrey. My 2 friends are on, well, 3 of them are on really. I'm not sure if they had any questions for you, but just want to welcome them.
All right. And what's the names again?
Cabell Roach and Audrey Francis.
Okay. Well, they know who they
Jamaica.
are. All right. If you have any questions whatsoever, now's your time. Now's your time. But again, Selma and Bob both know how to schedule some one-on-one time too. If you want to speak privately about something, that's no problem either. Okay. So I'll make myself available tomorrow afternoon and most of the day on Tuesday. We have guests coming in Tuesday afternoon, so I probably have to shut down around 2:00 on Tuesday, but Tuesday morning, then we can schedule some time if you need to, Bob or Selma. Okay.
Okay. Good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys are quite welcome. Happy to have shared this information with you. And you guys have yourselves a pleasant evening. Anything else, Bob? Any additional announcements? Go ahead, please.
Well, what I have to say is that okay. Remember, we have this broadcast that was just done available on YouTube. If you need to get it, well, I can provide the link if you want to share it with someone or just want to go over it again. So just know that that's available, and and just contact me or Selma, for anything that you might need. But really appreciate you guys coming and listening in, because I think that this is important. It has to do with your health, and guess what? We have to take care of ourselves. You have to take control of our health and do the best we can. Okay, we're not gonna get the everlasting life with this, right? I'm not gonna promise that it's gonna live forever, right? Yet it does have anti-aging effect, but at the same time, we want to keep as healthy as we can. All right, die healthy. All right. So when you die of old age.
Old age healthy. Just stop living one day.
Exactly. All right. Thank you very much, Jonathan, and we really appreciate you doing this.
Quite welcome, Bob. Guys,
thank you, Bob. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Selma.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Okay. Yes,
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good information.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent call.
That's good.
Everybody.